Wilkins Show with Permian football coach John Wilkins.
Welcome once again. Permian has done it again this year. They've won their third straight district title with, of course, a tough game last night against Odessa High on Friday night. And from now on until Permian's knocked out of the playoffs, we hope that doesn't happen. If not, we may be here up till Christmas to talk about the various games, playoff games, and we'll start off today with the Odessa game. I have with me Jeff Shull. Jeff, my assistant, we very rarely get to see him during the games, but he's helping us out on the coaches show. And of course, let's welcome John Wilkins once again.
Okay. Thank you, John. It is a pleasure to be back, of course, and it's a great thrill always to be in the playoffs. And of course, we're looking forward to being in the playoffs this year against our first game against Lubbock Monterey. And of course, as you said, we had a very tough ball game Friday night against Odessa High Bronchos, and it was a typical Permian OHS game right down to the last few seconds. And it certainly was that kind of football game and the kind of game I think people have come to expect between Permian and Odessa.
Let's go for a little bit about the season overall. How does your team shape up to, say, maybe the 80 championship team going into the playoffs? Are there any areas that are stronger or weaker in your mind?
Well, I think probably the 80 team at this point is a little bit stronger defensively, although our defense has certainly played well during the 82 season. I think offensively we probably have a more well-rounded attack in 82 than we did in 1980. However, of course, the proof is in the pudding, and we're just going to have to wait and see as to how the 82 team does perform in the playoffs. It's going to be a matter of us as to how we do perform once the playoffs do start.
Well, let's get back to the game that got you there and at least got you some momentum. First of all, the first half of the Odessa-Permian game, I'm sure something you don't really want to remember, and it went right from the first play of the game where just after the kickoff, Mike Troglin gets the ball and fumbles. What happened on the play? Just a bad snap, nerves, or what?
Well, I think it was just he never did really have control of the football. You see, it really wasn't Mike's fault. It kind of slipped through Brent's hands right there, right out of the snap. And of course, they did recover, and we fumbled the first play, as you said, and they're in great field position right off the start right here.
And then your defense held up pretty well. They even pushed them back on fourth down, but Alvarado came through the field goal. They've always seen some good kickers over there.
Well, Freddie, of course, he was hurt during the year, and of course he came in against San Angelo the week before our game and kicked the game-winning field goal against San Angelo. Certainly, he is a good kicker. Matter of fact, he kicked it on the second try because they had too much time the first time. And the second time, he 5 yards further back, he did kick it, and they did put him ahead for 0.
Okay, and then tried to go to the air. Well, here's the field goal, first of all. And
it's a good
think
shot.
You can make it from that far?
Well, yeah, they had to win. Of course, as you know, the win was a very important factor last night. And they did kick it right through the uprights right there, and he's done a good job all year long for Odessa.
And then trying to match the field goal, you didn't get off to too good of a start as Kelly tried to go to the air, and he ended up getting sacked.
Well, this is one of those things. Odessa High put a lot of pressure on us right here. We felt like we had him outside. Joe Terry, I believe it is, right there, makes a real good play, and we just slipped some blocks right there. And of course, it does sack us, and we're in a kind of a struggling at a certain point right now.
And then you went to the air again, and Adams picks off the pass from Kelly, and it kind of looked like he almost threw it right to him. He was sitting there waiting for it.
Well, this is really we had a misinterpretation of the route we wanted to run from the sideline, and we sent in a youngster with the play, and actually we called the wrong route in the huddle, or he sent in the wrong route. And of course, that's still no excuse because it is a route that we do have, but the ball shouldn't have been thrown, and the curl man was really the man that was open, and Brent just had a bad throw that time. And of course, Adams did a great job picking it off and set him up in great field position once again.
And then Odessa High, they got the ball, and they're not afraid to go to the air. Cruz with a pretty good pass, and he has a good receiver in Taylor.
Well, that's his little pass that they've run most of the year. You know, they beat Lee with it, and we had worked on it, but it was good execution on their part, and it set up again an important first down for them.
And then eventually, Charles Hunter reminds me of some of those big backs you see. He got the touchdown. What was your defense? Were they looking pass, or were they looking for Keen on Hunter on the play?
Well, I think we were looking for the run for the most part. Of course, Hunter's a big, strong youngster, just a junior, and he goes up and over the top, and they kind of walled us off, and he did a good job, and they did put it in the end zone. They kicked the extra point right here, and all of a sudden we're behind 10-0.
That's right, you're down at halftime in a position you're not usually used to at all. What'd you tell the team at halftime and kind of what was going through your mind, your strategy for the second half?
Well, really, it was very calm. Really, we had some bad things happen for us. Odessa High, as a good football team will do, had capitalized on them. We had turned the ball over, had an interception, we had a fumble, and had 2 interceptions, as a matter of fact, and a fumble. And, of course, Odessa High had capitalized on 2 of those, 2 of the breaks that they got, and it put 10 points on the scoreboard. We just told our youngsters, hey, hang in there. We'll have some good things happen for us. We're going to have the win in the fourth quarter, more than likely. And when that does happen, then we've got to take advantage of it. I think the most important thing we told them is that, we got to have to get something on the scoreboard in the third quarter. And I think that was very important for us. And we were able to do that and of course, won the game in the fourth quarter when we had to win it.
Okay, kind of like you started out in the first half, you had a fumble by Troglin again coming up here. And I'm sure that's not the way you wanted to start the second half at all.
Well, very definitely not. Of course, it's a matter of concern for us right off the bat right here. Just both opening plays, the first and the second half, we fumble the football and they get them. I think this was a real turning point in the ball game right here when our defense was able to rise up and keep them from getting anything on the scoreboard. And this was very important. And of course, we were able to, once we did stop them, we were able to take the ball down the field and go ahead and score. And of course, as I said, this was, I feel like, a very pivotal point in the game.
Well, the big play was that Brent Hager was able to tackle Hunter behind the line of scrimmage, kind of changed the momentum. Your defense rose to the occasion again, as they have often this year.
Well, that's right, and I think this play is coming up right now. There's Brent on a big play right there, and this is when they had scored on the play they had scored on earlier.
And we'll come back to see how the game turned around after this break here.
The John Wilkins Show is brought to you by Ace Specialties Incorporated, Allen & Sons Incorporated, Brad Allen, Vice President, Al's Mexican Food, 2215 East 42nd Street, American Auto Parts, 812 East 7th, American Auto Parts number 2, 434 South Grandview, Basco Chemical and Supply Company Incorporated, Basin Tester, Royal Sales Company, Bronchos Chevrolet, Brown Electric Company, Carl's Meat Processing, Car Well Service, Cobra Coating, Colonial Inns, Commercial Radio, Continental Well Services Incorporated, Continental Tank Rentals, L.C. Davis Builders, and Desert Energy Equipment Incorporated.